wanna spend my energy. Give my attention if yours ain't there. I don't wanna give you the best of me if you're just gonna give the rest. You see, I don't play the long game unless I'm your end game, babe. So don't you do it to me what you wouldn't want somebody to do to you. Follow the golden rule, we won't have no problems. Hey, don't you go making a fool of me. Don't make no mistake loving you. But if you're running around on me, let me spell it out for you. ITGAF. If I'm not the one you're missing, the one you wanna call when you're feeling low, if I'm not the only one you're kissing, then I don't care, I don't care. The one you're looking for in the crowd, the one to calm your mind when it gets too loud. If I'm not the one you want around, then I don't care, I don't care. ITGAF, nuh-uh. ITGAF, nuh-uh. Not gonna wait up all night while you're making other plans, it ain't right. Not gonna waste my time on someone who can prioritize. I don't wanna give you the best of me if you're just gonna give the rest. You see, I don't play the long game unless I'm your end game, babe. So don't you do it to me what you wouldn't want somebody to do to you. Follow the golden rule, and we won't have no problems. Hey, 1, 2, 3. If I'm not the one you're missing, the one you wanna call when you're feeling low, if I'm not the only one you're kissing, then I don't give, I don't give. The one you're looking for in the crowd, the one to calm your mind when it gets too loud. If I'm not the one you want around, then I don't give, I don't give. ITGAF, nuh-uh.
Hello.
ITGAF,
Hello, everybody. I actually like this song a lot.
Yeah,
I'm really
it's a vibe.
loving songs that spell right now.
It's
There's-
a vibe.
That is like a whole genre, songs that have like something.
HOTTO. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly. That's
Why?
that's all I'm
Bonnie
listening.
has
a first name.
That's it. I'm only listening to spelling related songs right now.
Oh man. Okay. Are we ready to start?
Yeah.
First, I won't tell you this. I'll tell you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes, we're ready.
We're
to start.
here. Let's
Hey,
just
do you
start.
like the? I have decided to go a more minimalistic direction with my room decor. Any thoughts
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
It's extremely minimal.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Blank, I might say.
hey, who's Chalk Designs?
There's no way to know.
I recognize. I have a sticker with Chalk Designs, and I cannot remember who gave it to me.
Chalk
you, like,
Designs?
looking at
like
it right
says
now?
Chalk Designs, or
Yeah, like I've seen the logo, like it's like a scripty hand.
Was it?
Like
What's her
chalk.
name from Louisiana? That was in the Creative South community.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know
That's
who
why
I'm talking about, though, right?
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I'm asking
'cause
Chalk
I-
Designs, who's here right now.
oh,
tell
I
us
was
who
missing
they
the
are.
connection.
Oh yeah, I don't see that. Mackenzie, Jedi, Will, Doc,
Doctor
Kate, Kreider,
Fever Dream.
Zach. Yeah, Fever Dream.
FEVER.
It's a new hit.
I don't know if that's a song, but it seems like it falls in line with what
It's
we were just
not.
doing.
That's absolutely nothing. Okay, go ahead and kick us off because I have things to talk about.
All right. Well, I was hoping that Chalk Designs would answer my question, but that's fine.
No, get
Chalk
outta
Designs
here.
got time.
All right. Let's 3 and 2 and 1 and.
Nice.
That's perfect, everybody. We did great.
It's so good.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have time to waste. Tonight's we gotta get it rolling. Let's see.
Let's talk about how much time we don't have to waste. You want to have a
Let
conversation?
me write the script real quick.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll tell you this story.
I'm just kidding. I
Okay.
have the script.
Okay.
No, let's check because you're going to tell it on the air. Here we go.
Have the script on the day.
That's such a funny. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about it in a second.
It's one of my favorite things.
It's
Hold
the
on,
wrong
hold on.
camera. I was gonna
we
show
go.
you boxes over there, and
Here we
this
go.
isn't the one.
Welcome to episode 565 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that's willing to try anything once. In this episode, we talk about the Blacks versus Greens Field Day, Donut Media, and the Book of Bill. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So let's play a little Truth or Dare, because it's time for another episode.
Okay.
You couldn't even say, like, truth. Or
No,
Yeah,
I've given
that's
up.
what I thought you were
I've-
going for.
I have no.
I
energy to
choose
do that.
truth. Here we go. We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. I'm going to go first because I feel like I just want to share a couple things. Actually, no, Patrick, you've been wanting to tell a story. So I'd rather hear your story.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
I
hear your
tried
story.
to ship something. So prior to COVID, I used to ship a decent amount of stuff because of the company that I worked at. I ran a community program, and there were like ambassadors all over the world, and so I would ship things internationally. That was common. And in terms of who I used, it was some combination of USPS, UPS, just kind of whoever at that time. But I don't know that anyone seemed like egregious in terms of pricing. But that was still pre-COVID. Things have changed, and I haven't done nearly as much shipping. So I had something today I needed to send to the Czech Republic. And so I just went to UPS because where we go to the grocery store, it's like next door. It's super convenient. And I thought, how much could this be? Okay, it can't be that bad. Now,
International shipping is a racket. Let me just say that.
when I say it can't be that bad, in my mind, I was expecting, okay, up to like even like $75 or $80, I'll just pay it. Like that to me was good enough. So to let you know what I was shipping, it was 10 inches at the longest. Like
This is
whatever.
not 10 inches. What you're doing. Well, I think it's important. It's important to know that that's not 10 inches.
10 inches.
There you go. Much better.
That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for.
It wasn't a very large box. It doesn't weigh hardly anything. I mean, it's probably like, a pound, whatever. So I took it in and get it shipped, and they priced it. And this has never happened to me, but the person at the counter was basically like, I don't think you want to ship this through us. And I said, well, just give me the price anyway. So given that y'all probably ship more than I do, or at least Lauren probably does, do you want to wager a guess at what it was to ship a pound?
You go
in
first,
a
Lauren, and then
10-inch
I'll
box
guess.
to...
Then I'll guess.
Are you
I
like
will
getting a
just say-
calculator?
I had to get I had to mail something to Switzerland today, and it's just a regular size envelope with 3 sticker packs in it, and that the cheapest option was $25.
Okay.
So what's your guess for
And
this?
the normal price for it was $75. Like that was what the post office
Okay.
suggested I should do. But like Etsy had the cheaper version. I'm gonna guess like 125.
Okay. And Andrew, your
Yeah,
guess?
I was gonna say 140.
Okay. Now, what is a price that you would say is like ridiculous to ship it?
200 or
I would
higher.
say 140.
Honestly,
but,
this is too much, but I feel like we're shooting for the moon now.
Yeah, I'm not paying. I mean, I wouldn't pay 140. But like, if you're saying like astronomical or asinine or any other ass precursor, then I would say 250.
Okay. $350.
Shut your.
What the
face.
hell?
No.
$350.
That's insane.
That's not real life. That's not real
That's
life.
crazy.
Wh-
$350
How in the
Yes.
world do
for
they
a
justify
1 pound
that?
tiny package?
To her
Did you
credit,
actually-
she was correct. She that I would not want to ship through them. So no, I did because I think USPS has like flat rate international boxes, and what I had will fit in one of those. So I'll just go to USPS, get a flat rate box, and then it will be like,
How do they
$60
justify
or something,
$350? How do they justify?
Wait, was was this with UPS? Is that what you said?
This
or
was with UPS, yes.
that
But, like,
is why that if I had realized that, I would have definitely started with like 200 because they're so expensive.
$350 is like I could maybe find a budget flight to go to the Czech
That's what I'm
Republic.
saying.
to drop it off.
Is this being hand delivered? I literally just watched a video yesterday of Ryan Trahan. One of his videos that Cooper showed me of him wanting to fly. There's 4 different seat variations on this particular airline, and so he justified doing this. He got Shopify to sponsor it. And he justified doing it where the first there's 2 legs to each, like to fly out and then fly back. One flight is 13 hours and the other one is 8 hours, right? To get all the way up. He went to Singapore, and he flew basic, and then he flew basic plus, and then on the way back he flew business, and then he flew in the residence, which is where you get like a living room, a bedroom,
it's like an
and
apartment and a half. It's
exactly,
crazy.
yeah. So anyway, all of that said, the premise of the video was he was going to fly out there to deliver a box of cereal to a guy who grew up in the States but is now living in Singapore. So he brought him his favorite box of cereal. So in my mind, that's a similar situation.
Yeah.
You are handing this to somebody who is flying across flying across the world to hand deliver this package to somebody.
I would be better to stand at the airport and like hire a mule. It would be cheaper
Yes.
for me to find a mule.
I will give you
to take it.
$150 to fly this box. No
Yeah.
questions asked.
And then
And
what?
someone
Like
would say
I'm
yes.
assuming whatever
Absolutely.
the thing that the person like that was in the box that you were shipping couldn't like was it worth more than this? Like there's like that's
Yeah, what were you? What in the world were you shipping? Like, what was this?
It's a pint glass.
yeah okay.
Like a Mondo pint glass.
Well, it's not Mondo. It's this is a friend of mine, and it's a shared interest we have, and I have multiples, and so I'm like sending him one, so he also has one. So
And
I'm not trying not to dox people. I'm trying to be good right now, but
No.
what
I
does docs mean?
I'm trying not to give up their information. I'm trying
Yeah.
not to reveal who it is. But
Oh
but
no,
my
that's
point-
fine. I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I'm not asking you to reveal who they are. I was asking to find out what you were sending.
Yeah, and it's just a pint glass. But the thing is, like, not gonna do it. Like, I'm
It
not
is
gonna do
astronomically
that,
too
so-
expensive.
That's crazy.
That is
Like,
yeah,
it's not something I can go like buy from European Amazon and get like drop shipped. I can't do that. So it is something that I can't get anywhere else. This is like one of the only ones in existence. Like, I would have to still get it to them. But again, yeah, this is not the way. This is not the way.
Oh my goodness. All
That's
right.
crazy.
That's a good
It's
story.
like- So shocking.
Thank you. Lauren,
That's it for you?
are you? Yeah, I mean, that's it. Who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
You can see everything else that I'm doing. Everything else I'm doing revolves around
moving.
putting things in boxes. Like, that's my entire life right now.
It sounds
So-
like you said
understand.
putting things in butts, and then you corrected to boxes. I want someone to go back and clip that, because I promise you, what you'll hear is Patrick say, everything else I'm doing is putting things in butts, into boxes.
It'll be Andrew's voice saying butts like over it.
I might be confusing where I am with where I want to be, but Lauren, what's going on with you?
On that note,
dress for the job you want, Patrick. If you believe it, you can achieve it.
this does feel
Receive
related tangentially. I saw
If you
Deadpool and
believe
Wolverine
it, you
this
can
week.
receive it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. You said something about Wolverine?
Yeah, so I saw.
Yeah.
I said it feels related, but I saw Deadpool and Wolverine this week. I know you guys know.
You muted yourself or something. You're full on quiet.
100%.
There you go.
I don't know what happened.
Oh,
Oh,
your mic cut
no.
out. That's fine.
Your
Hold
mic
on. Let
cut
me
out.
put a marker. I'll fix this. Just change your input. And if you have to need a second to do it, we'll go to Andrew.
Yeah, because my microphone disappeared entirely. So great.
Yeah, we heard that.
Yeah, nothing. It sounds like she's broadcasting from inside a pool right now.
That's what I told before we started before you showed up before the record. her audio was doing that too, and I was like, it sounds like you're really far away under the water.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go.
Andrew, what have you been up to?
A couple of things. One, we talked last week about how, or you talked last week about the first episode of Never Stop Blowing Up.
Oh, yeah.
Have you continued listening or watching?
No, and I want to, but I tell myself that I don't want to just throw it on in the background. I want to pay attention to it, but it's a big commitment, so I haven't played the next one yet.
I've been listening to it every morning on my walk, and so I think I'm on episode 5 now. And oh my gosh, Patrick, it's so good. I think it's my favorite Dimension 20 so far, just because there's so much of, like, it's not fanciful. So like I can relate to most everything that's happening in it. But it's wild. Lauren, did you listen to Never Stop Blowing Up?
Yeah, of course. It's just like hilarious to me that you guys talked about Dimension 20 when I'm not here, because of course I've been watching it.
So here's the thing, Lauren, you can speak to this. Are you or are you not annoyed by Izzy?
Oh, not at all.
Oh, she needs to just calm down. She needs to stay on task. Brennan actually, and I think it's episode 5, the last one I listened to. Brennan actually gets annoyed with her and what's the
Allie or
Usha,
I don't know.
Usha.
I don't really feel like he's like actually annoyed.
No, he for sure. This is the first time of all the seasons I've listened to, and I've listened to most of the Dimension 20 seasons, where he got annoyed and he was putting a stake down of like, the two of you need to let me finish this. I mean, he actually says,
"Oh, I remember." Yeah, when he's like, "Stop interrupting me." Yeah, like
exactly. And he's like, "Hey, you have to allow things to resolve so that I can explain what happens." Like, he stopped the game to like reprimand them, and I felt so vindicated, because I have been with Izzy this whole season up till now. It just seems like she's going for the goofy laugh and not like participating in, like, every time something happens, she pulls her gun out to shoot at somebody. Like, it's like she's not following the rules of the game, and it's throwing me off. And so I'm glad that Brennan kind of called them out on, like, hey, listen, this is how the game works. You make a claim, you commit to it, then you roll the dice decide what happens, and then I will explain what happens. Like, that's how it works. And he like laid out like the turn order on that.
Yeah, like I don't think it was like super bad. I actually think Reika's been the worst at doing whatever she wants.
The two of them
but
in this episode specifically, it came to a head where he had to say something, and he said it on air. Like, he left it in and everything. So it's not, he didn't yell at them, but he definitely reprimanded them for kind of just like yes, it is supposed to be fun, and it's a comedy show, and it's entertaining.
Well, I also think that this particular one, because it's like the kids on bikes format, is a lot more just like narrate something you think is cool. It's a lot less like, and you're just trying to get enough dice to like make it like achieve whatever level of that you can.
The issue is not that. The issue is them not allowing him, like, when it fails, they don't let him they don't let it fail. They're like, no, instead
I
it's gonna
agree
be
with
like
that,
da-da-da. Yeah, and that's.
But I was just saying, I think part of the reason why is that this game style, like, they're meant to narrate a lot more of what happens versus like in other Dimension 20 seasons when it's D&D, Brennan is narrating everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes and no, but like, it was enough for like I said, for him to call it out, but also Jake calls out, like, I don't think you can tell him no. Like, he actually really says, funny, like, you can't just say no, that's not what happens. Like, that's not how this works. He's the game master. Like, he's the one who decides what happens.
So Will, it's their own it's kind of their own system, or it's their own variant.
No, it's the kids on bike system, okay, which I'm pretty sure Will would be very aware of. And then there's some modified function,
their like values and stuff for it.
Yeah, so it's not you're not rolling with D20s. You start off each check, and there's only like 6 or 7 different kinds of checks, and you start off each check with a D4. If you hit the highest number on the die, then you graduate to the next one. Then you graduate to the next one, so you go D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20.
Right, so it's got
is
some like
how that
themed
works.
modifications to it.
Yeah, they cut. It's definitely like a modified version, but they've done that every time that they've played the kids on bikes stuff.
So does this mean there's like a lot of like table discussion happening? Because that the way you're describing it sounds like there's a lot of table discussion.
Well,
during-
the adventuring parties have been purely that. Almost like it's a lot less talk back because they're working through the like upgrades that they get in between episodes. But
No, but he's talking about for like the actual the gameplay. The gameplay,
for the play.
no, it's not a bunch of table discussion. They're still choosing like he will set up a thing, they will respond to that thing, and then they're supposed to roll, and then he resolves the roll for them, like whether they passed or failed and what happens as a result. The big issue that comes into play with these two particular players in this season is, at least for the first few episodes, they're coming up with these really outlandish things, which is fine. Like that's totally part of the
Sure.
game. But then when
they're
it doesn't
not
work,
accepting what happens. to
exactly,
them.
they're not accepting
the bad rolls basically.
yeah,
Like,
they're
if
just not
they-
accepting
yeah.
what like the consequence of that decision, and they're arguing with him about it, essentially pushing for it. And so at a certain point, he just is like I'm fine with you making the decision to do this ridiculous thing, but you have to let it resolve the way the dice resolve it. That's how the game works. Like you can't do that. So anyway,
Yeah.
But this season has been so much fun. I am absolutely in love with it. Patrick, you should absolutely pick it back up when you're driving across
Yeah,
the country.
it's really fun.
Yeah, I
in
was
a
about to
couple-
say I'm about to have a 15 hours that
You
I
should,
will.
and it's not as visual as some of the other years past, so you can just listen
Yeah,
to it.
there's
They
no
don't
battle
have
maps
minis.
and stuff. Yeah,
They don't have like the maps. They don't have the minis. They're not doing like that stuff
I do
for
think
this
the
season.
set is
so.
really cool, and like the props that they have for the. Have you gotten to that part where they explain that?
Yeah,
don't
so I
wanna-
watched all the first episode.
Yeah.
The props are all given out at the end of the first episode. So from that standpoint, I have visuals for everybody. So I think now being able to just
Yeah.
listen to the audio will be fun.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to me that you listen to the audio version because I always just watch the show. You know, like maybe like I have it on in the
because
background.
I'm doing it on my
often,
walks.
But,
So like if I'm walking like 6 miles in the morning, I've got an hour and 20 minutes to kill. I'm listening to an episode of it. You know
Becca
what I mean?
always watches QVC during that time. And they only have one TV. It's not available.
Yes.
So he has to listen to the audio. That's the only other option.
QVC. That's what's on.
It's either that or
What's on.
HSN, but we know QVC's better. So
And then the let's see, like the only other thing that I want to say is there's a new iteration of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out this week. There's a new
Oh, that's cool.
a new television show on Paramount Plus called Tales of the TMNT. I'm gonna share just what they look like real quick, to show you the visual of it. There we go. It's a
cute.
fully
It's
like
kinda like the
2D
movie.
2D animated. It's based on the character, like the character designs of the newest film, Mutant Mayhem. So it's that same world, that same origin. But if you'll notice, the style of it, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I was trying to figure out the best way to describe it for those who are listening. Does this not look like the Ninja Turtles if they were drawn by the animators of Hey Arnold?
That's pretty
So
good.
I was
Am I wrong?
going to say that this feels like maybe like mid or late 90s Nickelodeon to me.
It
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which
This
fits
looks-
in exactly
The-
what you're saying. So
The kind of
Yep.
weird line quality though makes me think of something else, but I can't quite put my finger on it.
To me it's the main character design of Hey Arnold with some characteristics of the Rugrats.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe that I get from this. So anyway, that's happening this week. The first episode, or maybe all of them, drop on August 9th. So you'll be able to watch that this week on Paramount Plus. I'm real excited about it because they
cool.
have brought back the voice cast from the movie.
Oh,
for
yay!
At least for the 4 turtles.
That's
I don't know
great.
I don't know if it carries over into some of the other characters. I don't know if Jackie Chan is doing Splinter, but like I know the 4 turtles are
kids.
the kids who played the characters in
That
the
makes
film.
me
so.
happy. Now I'll
okay.
have another show to watch on Paramount Plus because all I ever watch is Drag Race.
You should also watch SpongeBob, like Undersea Camp or whatever. It's very funny. It's
I've
like
never
the 3D.
really watched much SpongeBob at all.
Me
though.
either. I didn't watch
Yeah.
a ton of SpongeBob growing up, but this version is called like Camp Chocula. Nope, that's Count Chocula. Camp.
Well,
Krusty
every time I
Camp-
open Paramount Plus, it's just SpongeBob
Camp
everywhere.
Coral.
So they're really
Camp Coral, I
pushing
think,
it.
is what it's called. Anyway,
Camp
you should
Chocula.
watch it. It's very Camp Chocula.
Do you know where you were? Did you see the premiere, or do you know where you were when you saw the premiere of SpongeBob?
Is this like a? Do you know?
Is
where
this
you
like
were
where were you
when
on
the- when
9/11?
saw the
Like what
towers
is this
hit?
question?
Hold on. I don't think it's quite that dark. But I'm just saying that at the time I loved this show, and I remember where I was when I saw the first episode. That's all.
I don't.
What, like,
I-
so
I-
it was
I
not
don't
that
need- yeah.
formative to you that it like sticks in your head.
No, but where were
No.
you when you
But
saw the towers hit? Because that's what I
Oh
want
my
to know.
gosh.
Where
I
were
know
you
the
when
answer
you
to
saw
that, too.
SpongeBob, Patrick?
I played Turok. I played Turok on N64 maybe, and I for some reason I feel like I wasn't supposed to be playing it, or like it was too adult, and then I turned off the TV, and then it was like disaster. So
So you turned off Turok and then you
Oh, I
saw
thought we were
SpongeBob?
talking about
Is that-
SpongeBob.
no, that's
Yeah.
not what you asked me. That's not what you asked me.
But then Lauren then followed up my question with, "Where were you when you saw SpongeBob?" So I was thinking that's what you were
SpongeBob,
answering.
we were
I did
on,
too, yeah.
SpongeBob, we were at the beach. We would go to Amelia Island, something like that, and we were on vacation, and I watched it sitting in the condo we were staying at.
I thought you were referring to SpongeBob as a disaster. So it took me it took me a
Like, why
solid
are you
3
being so
seconds to
mean
be
to
like,
SpongeBob?
why is he calling it a disaster? Oh, he's talking about 9/11. I see.
What about for you, TMNT?
Sorry, what?
When I saw TMNT?
Yeah, was that something that just stuck with you the first time?
The first time I saw the movie, yes, it absolutely stuck with me. I wore me and my friends went in white T-shirts that we had puff paint drawn our character. We each went as a turtle. And
Oh
I
my
went as
gosh, that's so
Michelangelo.
cute.
I remember that, and I will forever remember that. Yeah.
And then Lauren, for you, the Magicians.
Yeah. Do you remember where you were when you first watched The Magician?
I do actually. This is really funny. I was working on my Guardians of the Galaxy 2 costume, and I was up, I pulled an all-nighter sewing on my Rocket Raccoon jumpsuit, and I watched the first few episodes of
Oh.
Magicians.
Like TOO, like it was 2 costume. Or-
No, TWO, like Volume
Guardians of
2.
the
Because I've
Galaxy
done one for
2.
every movie, like a true psychopath.
That is a true psychopath, and I'm glad that we are all on the same page with that. It's important to know. It's important to know yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know.
I think
But
that's
love
it.
them all.
I think we've covered our around the table. So I think
Can
it's
I go
time
real
for us
quick
to-
because I got cut off?
Lauren
Sorry.
went to a pool.
Yeah.
I thought I went last. I thought we had
Well, you were
already
supposed to, but my microphone died.
Yeah.
But I'll
Oh,
be really
that's
quick.
Right.
I'll
That's
be really
right. I'm
quick.
like, I was pretty sure Lauren.
No, I think we're all done.
we're done here.
It's okay. I'm very tired. I'm having
Okay.
coffee now. Okay, so
yeah.
I was
what else, Lauren?
I was gone last week to visit the set of my brother's movie, Damned If You Do. It was a really, really, really cool trip. There's a new press release today that I put on the Slack so I can finally talk about all the cool actors and stuff that were in it. I got to meet everybody. I got to be an extra for a big chunk of the movie, which will be really fun to see. Look for me
Sweet.
wearing this shirt in the background a lot.
Because that's all you wore, and they're just like, well, this is what you're wearing.
She had
So-
to work 80 hours straight, and so she couldn't change.
This is actually true. This is so true. So, like, I didn't know that being an extra meant that I would have to be there for the 12 plus hours every day that they are shooting. And and I wore the worst shoes possible. Like, that sucked. But it was very fun. I had a lot of fun, like, hanging out with the other extras. We got to, like, do lots of fun stuff, and I honestly, like, can't wait to see the movie. We got to see some of the footage that they had filmed before we got there, and it looks amazing. I think it's just going to be great. So very excited, very proud of everybody. Everyone was so nice and so cool. Like, everyone that's working on this movie is really talented and awesome. I kind of felt like I went to, like, this really cool little, like, summer camp, and I was like, everyone is so fun, and now I have to leave all my cool new friends.
Speaking of summer camp, on Paramount Plus, you can watch SpongeBob.
Shut up.
I'm sure
was
it's the
incredible.
same vibes as your brother's movie.
Yeah, totally. SpongeBob, Damned If You Do, very much the same. R-rated horror comedy. Yeah.
Have you been around your brother when he's been in
Work
that like
brother.
mode before or in that role before? Yeah, have you been
Not
around
to
work
this
brother?
extent, because, like, I got there and there was like 5 times as many people as I kind of like imagined in my head. There's like, all these makeup people, all the extras, all the camera people, all the, just like everybody. There's like all like 100
Gaffers
people
and
working
boomers.
there. Yeah, all those guys. I don't even know all of their roles. Like, there's just like a lot of people all working to make this happen, and like seeing all that was really cool. And Jake and his friend Evan are like the directors. They're in the middle of absolutely everything. So like, no, I hadn't really like seen him like, like in charge of this many people really doing his thing, but it seemed like totally natural. They're kicking butt.
Did Jake have like a latte person?
Not like officially, but because he's the director, if he had been like, can someone please bring me a coffee? He probably would, but he just went and got his own. Yeah.
Still humble.
He had to walk all the way to craft services on his own. It's really, really a slog.
The day he has someone get him a coffee, you'll have to sit him down and do
just
an
really
intervention.
humble him.
Just remind him where he came from. So.
While you were there, did you set up the fact that when the movie releases that he's going to have to do a Reuben sandwich episode with you?
I didn't tell him that, but I'm sure he knows. Just like be a default. Good. He was so busy, honestly, if I didn't want to add anything extra, just trying to like let him do his thing.
Did you feel like you were imposing by even just being there? Like, because you felt like, did he feel like he needed to give you FaceTime even though it was super busy?
No.
Maybe like the first day we were there, but we were there for like a week, so I feel like it kind of felt more normal, or like we didn't need any extra help either, by like the last day and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But I did sometimes feel like I'm just in the way. There's so like everyone's working really hard and I'm just sitting here watching like magic come together.
I'm super excited to see Lauren
it's
on the big
totally
screen.
made me think differently
And
now
then,
that like I watch any scene with extras, knowing how many takes there are for everything. Like the fact that all these people have to like do their thing over and over again. It's like, as I've been watching a lot of like House of the Dragon, catching up on that again, and like just thinking about the fact they have hundreds of extras like doing some of these parts. I'm like, how does this happen?
Can I ask you real quick though?
Uh-oh.
Was the finale terrible?
I could talk about this more in my like main category. I was going to save it, but I wasn't a big fan of this finale. This was I think a very disappointing episode. I don't think the season as a whole. I do not think that the season as a whole was bad. I did not think this finale episode gave half of what I was expecting.
Andrew, what do you think I was going to ask?
I thought you were going to ask, were there any actors who just couldn't get their shit together and had to keep going because they kept messing up their lines, and so like you were annoyed?
Let's go through the list of everyone in the film, and you tell
all
us
the
most
people
negative
who,
thing
like,
you
yeah.
can
I wasn't
about them.
asking whom. I was just asking if that happened. If there was one person you're like, oh my gosh, please get this right. Like you knew the line before the thing was done.
Not really. I mean, I could think of one person who like tripped over their line like twice, but that's really not that bad. It's just, I think it's a lot of people watching you. I would be nervous. So I was glad that I'm just like standing in the background looking at cake and stuff. Like I didn't have anything important to do.
People watching me is what fuels me. Like my energy is sourced by the amount of people watching.
Wow, that's so opposite for me.
Yeah.
I know.
Which is why I do this show, since no one watches it.
Oh yeah, but it was great. So check out the new article. You can see who's going to be in the movie and everything, and hopefully it'll come out sometime next year. We'll see. It's hard to say right now.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay, then let's head on out of the around the table and head on over into the master categories. The master categories each week are when we talk about whatever we want. So this week, we didn't roll dice last week. So we're literally just talking about whatever we want this week because we didn't roll dice. So Patrick, why don't you kick things off for us?
Sure, would love to. Okay, a lot happening in the YouTube space, specifically with Donut Media. And after a bit of a reorganization, we kind of know where things have settled now. So quickly, who are they? So if you'll remember, I talked about Donut a few years ago on the podcast because they were making a foray. That might be a word. That's like a
foray into
a small
something
eel that you would eat.
A foray eel. Yep.
Yeah, they were making a foray into vinyl toys. They were kickstarting these little cars, and I talked about how I thought they were way too much money for what they were.
Oh, yeah.
And I complained a lot about them. That's primarily what I remember as being incredibly negative on this actual product. But in
Loyal
fairness,
subjects? Is that what you're saying?
What's funny is in the process of packing, I found my Loyal Subjects membership card.
Oh my!
by the way.
I hope you frame it and it is the first thing you hang in your new house.
Yeah.
It is not. It will not be. So
Did you throw it away?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Yes.
I feel like it's gonna come back to you somehow.
It's not fully thrown away, and it's sitting in a trash box on the other side of this wall. But it's
Andrew,
it's
steal
coming.
that, and then you just need to like sneak it into his new house somewhere.
Well, or just take it and use it as a giveaway. That is podcast
yeah, that's
history.
funny.
That is a podcast historical item for us.
What's funny is that I have side note about giveaway. In packing stuff up, I found that I have thousands of stickers.
Yes.
I have hundreds of pins and buttons. I have so many. The amount of just tiny notebooks that I have from like swag and stuff from events.
We know you have at least 3 to 4 butt plugs.
It was 3.
Okay.
It came as a set.
Yes.
Well, those were 3, but then the other one that you already had, that makes the 4th. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
And I was thinking like, oh, I should put together these like goodie bags, almost like my own swag bag, and then have people just pay shipping, and then I'll just ship them like a bunch of random
Mystery
stuff.
boxes.
Yeah, exactly. But then I realized I would very likely just be shipping people back stuff that they've sent me.
You wouldn't know. You wouldn't be able to tell who sent you what. That's
You're
the problem.
regifting, yeah.
After 10 years of doing this show, like that's a real dangerous game that you play.
Yeah, it could be bad. But anyway, so I had to figure out what I'm doing. So anyway, I made fun of Donut Car at the time, but since then, I actually started watching Donut Media, and I really started enjoying it. So this was a YouTube channel. Initially, it was more of like a car-centric advertising agency, and then over time, they hired some very good personalities. And in fact, they tend to hire like kind of comedians that enjoy cars. But then they actually got into doing their own project cars, their own builds, documenting that stuff. And from a kind of artistic standpoint, everything looked really good. And in fact, if you've seen any of the Gymkhana series, which is these like really highly produced like rally car drift videos that people like Ken Block, Pastrana, etc. have been a part of. Several of those cinematographers that worked on those also went on to work on Donut Staff. I believe Donut was founded, one of the guys that founded it was the guy that did the Silhouettes Apple commercial, that really, really famous like iPod commercial. Yeah. So they had
the dancing silhouettes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of creative talent behind it. They had this car focus. They got engaging hosts, and then they started doing their own builds. And so it morphed from this car-centric ad agency into this really awesome car community that just had creatives and budget and were doing things that no one else was doing. And I really fell in love with watching it, even though I was kind of late to the game because Donut's been around for a while. Well, Donut got bought out by another media company. And recently, there was a big shakeup where a large percentage of Donut staff left. So there were 3... Well, I would say there's probably 4 hosts that I would say are like the primary 4 people that if you watch any of the content in the last 4 years, you would see, or I'm sorry, in the last 3 years, you would see those 4 people. 3 of them are out now. The lead for creative is out now, along with other people. And there was this, time where behind the scenes, people knew something was happening, but in front of the camera, these people are still finishing out their contracts. They're under NDA for some stuff, or they still have a content in the pipeline that hasn't been released. And so there's been this big question mark of what's really going on at Donut and when are we going to find out what's going on at Donut. And we just found out this week where James ended up. And then in the last couple weeks, we found out where the 2 other hosts, Jeremiah and Joby, ended up. But These hosts have now all split off and started their own channel. So Jeremiah and Joby, they left. These were two guys that came in later in Donut's journey. But again, two very great personalities and also car knowledge. They have split off into their own channel, which is called Big Time. And in many ways, it feels like Donut in terms of the design, in terms of the energy, in terms of the script writing and how they edit things together. But it's a little bit more long form in terms of the car work itself. So if you ever watched Donut and you felt like, oh, I want to see more of the nitty gritty and the actual work that's happening, or I want more long form content around builds, then Big Time would fit that. James, he split off and he just announced his channel this week, and that is Speed with 3 E's. But James started this show on Donut called Up to Speed, where he would take different car models and then he would get you up to speed on them and kind of give you the history of them. But in his new iteration, instead of going the direction of kind of spinning off Donut and mimicking what was happening, his direction is getting you up to speed on any brand. So it might be Carhartt jeans or something like that. So it's a lot of different stuff. But the question is, why did these people leave? And the ultimate answer is because none of them, let me flip it around the other way. They were all involved in building the brand, hugely involved, and in a lot of different aspects. Yes, these people were hosts, but these people would also do editing, or they would write scripts, or they would be talking one-on-one with community. They were massively involved in building the face of this company, but at the end of the day, they had no ownership in the company. They had no say in the company. They didn't get any money from the sale of the company. And regardless of how big they helped build the company, at the end of the day, they were going to walk away from nothing walk away with nothing whenever they walked away from it. So for these people, this is an opportunity to actually put their name on something that is theirs, that both, if it fails, they get to fail with it, but also if it succeeds, then they get to experience the success of it. Really, that's largely the piece of it. There's another piece, which is that creative direction, even though these are the people whose creative ideas largely got the company to where it was. That creative direction was feeling like it was increasingly stifled. And on top of that, it's kind of the complaint that you hear in the movie world, but scaled down. You hear this thing of like, oh, I'm tired of getting remakes all the time, but from a studio's perspective, like a remake is proven, and so of course we'd want to put our money into something that has the nostalgia and has the hook and already has a proven audience. And similarly, there are videos that perform well, whether or not they liked those videos. Those are the videos that their owners wanted them to keep making, if they were videos that were cheap to make and could guarantee views, etc. And so they were losing the ability to really like go out in creative directions and try new things. And so this is probably a lot of emotions that the artists in our community have felt at different times working for other people. And in fact, there's a lot of people in our community that work for themselves precisely because they want to own their work, or they want to maintain their creative control. They want the ability to go out and try new things. And they don't want someone at the end of the day to like slap their hand or tell them no or rein them in. So anyway, that's the story. That's the big piece. So if you're interested in more about, getting up to speed on Donut, James, as part of his new channel Speed, the first organization that he gets you up to speed on is the history of Donut, leading to him walking away from it. And it's a really cool insight into how a large media company and a YouTube-oriented media company is built, the steps that go into it, the people that they hire. It's a really great behind the scenes to the process. So I recommend checking that out if you're interested in it. But otherwise, check out Big Time, check out Speed, and I'm not telling you not to check out Donut. Still check out Donut. I mean, they still have some good content. It'll just be interesting to see how that content evolves, especially as the community starts shifting away. I think we saw this probably a bit with Mondo, although I haven't stuck with it enough to see how this unfolded. But for some of these companies, the content they produce, yes, is important, but there's another like cool factor that's important. And if all of a sudden that thing feels too mainstream or a little bit uncool, then even if the content doesn't change, there are people that'll shift away from it because they don't feel that anymore. So from Donut's perspective, even if the content of the quality of their content doesn't change, it'll be interesting now with Big Time existing and Speed existing, how many people in the community just decide, well, that's uncool now, that's old now, so we're going to go watch something else. So fascinating stuff. But that is Donut Media and what's going on right now with them?
There's a I can't remember. So we know about Mutant. We talked about Mutant when they first did that announcement. Rob has one of the creative directors and co-owners and originators of Mondo has Rob Jones has his new venture, which they just announced about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm trying to look and see if I can find it, but it's a similar thing. Like the creators now, we've got Mutant and we've got this other thing, and Mondo is still doing its thing, but it's definitely lost the pop. Like it's definitely lost like that niche kind of underground vibe. You know, they've got these massive booths at SDCC now that are tied to the Funko brand and all that stuff. So it's a very similar story. So I guess we'll see how it plays out for Donut. Okay, who are you tossing it to?
Andrew.
All right, so if you've been any sort of length listener to the show, I've talked about Gravity Falls before, and I think I've even shared about this right here, the Gravity Falls Journal 3, which plays, if you've ever seen the show, it's an animated show used to air on Disney. I think it's got 3 seasons, but it's this book plays a huge part of the story. Like the whole story arc is kind of centered around finding this book. Gravity Falls, Oregon is this little town where all this mysterious, crazy stuff happens. And there was a mysterious person keeping track of all those things in these journals. This is the 3rd journal, Dipper Pines, one of 2 twins, him and his sister Mabel. They're spending the summer with their great uncle Stan. They call him Grunkle Stan. And he runs this mystery shack. Okay, this book plays a huge piece in the show. In fact, it's kind of the crux of the show, really, because it documents all of the weird and strange things going on in Gravity Falls. Well, the show's been off air for several years now, but it has had a cult following ever since it's aired, ever since it's been gone. I think it honestly got more popular after it was no longer airing, as so many things do. But the creator of it, Alex Hirsch, has continued to talk about it, and there's been little things that pop up here and there. And I think I talked a few years ago about Creature Kid, who's this artist who makes realistic looking monster creature type things, and he did this life-size realistic looking like bust of Grunkle Stan, and there was like these like little hidden things that were part of it. One of the things that's on that, one of the main characters of the film, and it's actually the main antagonist or the show, the main antagonist of the show is Bill Cipher. And if you remember back several years ago, I made a life-size puppet of Bill Cipher for Halloween because our whole family, including Patrick and Mackenzie, went as different characters from Gravity Falls, and I was Bill Cipher,
awesome.
the bad guy. He's a pyramid, a 2-dimensional golden pyramid with a single eye and a little black bow tie, and he's the main antagonist. Well, last week, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago, there was Alex Hirsch released a brand new book called The Book of Bill. And the Book of Bill is essentially all of the hidden components that are from this book. In fact, this book has missing pages, and they document the fact that this book has missing pages. And those pages specifically are all about how to destroy Bill Cipher, all of the things about Bill Cipher. So this book is all about Bill Cipher. And this one specifically, we went looking for it because this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive. It's got this shiny foil gold instead of red cover. And
That's really cool.
It's got this really nice texture to it. I don't know if that comes across, but it's got a nice texture with like hidden symbols and stuff that are in the texture. There you go. You can kind of see them in the shine. But this book is so much fun. It's very dark. So like it even says on the front, travels to dimensions meant for older readers. So like this is not
Oh,
for the
that's
faint of
nice.
heart. In fact, let me see if I can quickly get to a page. Okay, so here's a page that's talking about urban legends, and it is Patrick. See if you can take me full screen just so you can show the.
that's
Sure, would
cool.
love to. Wrong way.
That's me.
So do you see like this? This is a
It's me
Dipper
again.
Pines. This is Dipper Pines with his head being split open.
Is
with,
this what
like-
the whole
This
book looks
is
like, by the way?
insane.
Not the whole book. Lots of pages. There's
That's
lots
I
of
don't
different-
love that interior, if I'm honest. That interior
No.
feels like I bought a behind-the-scenes making of Batman Forever.
A lot of the
book.
a lot of the pages look like the journal
That was
entries.
very accurate, Patrick.
Okay.
see this?
Thank you.
A lot of pictures look
Okay.
like journal entries, like this kind
I
of
was
stuff.
gonna ask you if it's like like an interactive book or
It's
or
not
how it works.
interactive in the truest sense of the word. Like where there are things like this faux, but looks like an actual like screenshots from like a TV ad, like an as seen on TV
Okay.
ad.
That's funny.
So there's things like that, but it's not. You're not like. I don't want to say that it's not interactive because there are hidden codes, there are hidden sentences
Sure.
done in symbols that you can decipher,
Oh.
and all throughout the book. In fact, like one of the very first pages says, "This book does not have any codes," and it's but there's lots of hidden messages. So it's interactive in the sense that you can actually go and find some things out about it. But let me show you. Let me give you kind of a vibe of how this book works. So before the book actually starts, the book is about the Book of Bill that no one knew where it was. So
Yeah.
they refer to the Book of Bill. And so this page, like the first part of it is talking about the Book of Bill. All right. So after you get through the first like 10 pages, this is the back of that book, like that little mini book talking about the fact that you're getting ready to read the Book of Bill. All right. Let's see if you can make that out. Okay. So this book ends and you're seeing the back side of this book, the back side, I'm doing
Sure,
air
yeah.
quotes. And in it, like you can read through all of like the copyright material, and it's all, to give you an example, it says, for more Bill Cipher press fund, visit thisisnotawebsite.com. If you purchase this book without a cover, you should be aware that this is probably stolen property. Good. Stealing is fine. Laws are made up. For more great ideas, combine all expired fluids in your fridge into a giant jug. Down the hatch. Our lawyers do not endorse the prior sentence. Please close your eyes while reading it. That the entire book. And the Patrick, you've not read the book, but you own the book S.
Yes.
The Sea of
Well,
Theseus.
That the ship of Theseus, but that's what I was thinking. If it was kind of like that in some ways.
It is a lot like that. Pieces don't come out. Like it's
Okay.
all
In the
print, it's
book,
all
yeah.
designed. But it's designed in such a way. There are pages where it looks like there's newspaper clippings that have been, clipped into like. So the design of it, every single page is a completely unique and different design. But there is a story that coincides with this. It's not all just like individual, non sequiturs. The whole thing does kind of tell this ultimate story. Bill is trying to get you to release him, it's kind of similar to Beetlejuice, right? And the book has, it continues the story of Gravity Falls. Now, that being said, if you are listening to this or you're watching this and you're a fan of Gravity Falls, there might just be something on the horizon for you. In conjunction with the release of this book, the voice actor who did Dipper Pine's voice on the day of the book release, he tweeted just a question mark. As you know, like the question mark is kind of the symbol of Gravity Falls. It's the Mystery Shack is like the whole thing is about this question mark. And Alex Hirsch tweeted something as well, and I can't remember. Or he has in his IMDb page there is a mysterious unnamed project in the works, and I happen to know that following Creature Kid on Instagram, as I have ever since he did the whole Grunkle Stan thing. He's been working on some, I've been seeing some work in progress things that have to do with the Mystery Shack and Dipper Pines and Mabel Pines, and a little Bill Cipher. So if you are a fan of Gravity Falls, and you thought, you've gotten all the content that you can get from it, that might not be so. So head over to Barnes & Noble, get your Book of Bill now. We actually had to go to 2 Barnes & Nobles to get the special cover. And it does come with 16 extra pages that have the missing pages from Journal 3. So if you have this book and you've seen the show, you get to finally see what those missing pages are, and they stick them right in the middle of this book.
That's fun.
You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it any place where books are sold. But if you want the gold edition, which actually looks a lot less menacing, if you can imagine this, but Bill and the words are all red, it kind of looks like blood. Like that seems a slightly darker, whereas this feels more in line with the actual show and the character itself. So, the Book of Bill, it's super creative, super fun, and it has allowed this property to continue life years after the show itself ended. And so who knows what may come of it, but it's super creative and super fun and a little bit dark, which is kind of right in my wheelhouse. So the Book of Bill, check it out now. All right, Lauren, I think it's just you.
Yeah. I want to add, I absolutely love merch like that. That's like something from the show, like the book is like in the show and then you can have it. I think that's like one of my favorite things.
It's important to know too, this is the New York Times #1 bestseller. Like
Hell yeah.
The first one is, it's not just like a fun kid show, like compendium. Like it's not like an add-on.
It's a bit of an upgrade.
It takes you it takes you into there's like a special edition of this too. I couldn't find it when we went to get it, but there's a special edition where there's blacklight ink inside the pages that you get whole like messages and you get codes and things like that show up in that, which is true to the show. But it's not just a little rinky thing. It's a #1 New York Times bestseller. So anyway.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. So for my category, I had games, and since House of the Dragon has started and it's been the whole blacks versus greens thing, I have hosted an adult field day during the finale for both seasons so far. So we had the second annual Blacks versus Greens field day, and that was yesterday. It was a lot of fun. I spent pretty much all my free time this week building the stuff and kind of setting this up because I just can't do it halfway. I go all the way in on this, and I do it kind of like Taskmaster style, where like ahead of time I have envelopes written out with all of the games, and they kind of describe them. I kind of take classic field day games and try and reskin them a little bit so that they kind of match more with the fantasy House of the Dragon theme and everything. So it went really, really well. We had twice as many people as we did last year, but no injuries. So that's great, because last year I hurt my knee really, really badly. But nothing bad happened, and it was a lot of fun. So I had more fun doing this than I did with the finale, but we could talk about that at the end of the episode, I think. So I thought I would show some of the stuff that I made. So these behind me are archery targets. So I had like solo cups in all of the holes for these little castle things,
cool.
And there's like little basically shelves behind them, and they're just project boards, so it's just cardboard, and then I had some spare boxes to kind of make the shelves across and everything. And so then like I had bought these little slingshots off Amazon, which are like kind of serious. Like I was messing around with these. Yeah, like really good. Like there are like serious holes in this thing because people hit it so hard, but it was really fun. It worked super well. And it was just great. We just were shooting like little rubber bouncy balls with this, and these are really fun to play with. And it was really funny because one of my friends brought her own slingshot to the party, not knowing that this is one of the games. I'm like, well, obviously you can use this.
Who just carries a sling. That is an insight into the type of people Lauren hangs out with. That they just
Yeah.
It's a
carry.
bad neighborhood. It's a bad
Yes,
neighborhood.
yes,
Do
definitely.
you hang out with Dennis the Menace? I don't understand.
She is maybe the closest like human equivalent to Dennis the Menace. Here's some of the other stuff that I made. I made these dragon hobby horses for a relay race. So you had to like ride these around the little track that's in the park near my
Can I
house.
ask, is that just a modified Quidditch broom that you had from your Harry Potter themed adult party?
No, this is a dowel rod, more cardboard boxes, and just some duct tape and hot glue. So that's how I made these, and they turned out
That's
really
good.
awesome.
What time?
I was like,
What
you can kinda
time
see
during the day
inside.
did you make those?
I finished these around 2 a.m. on Saturday
Yeah.
night.
and
You're such a
how-
busy person. I don't know how you have time to do this stuff.
I was gonna ask how
make it happen.
how much weed had happened prior to the making of those things.
Hey, they turned out really good.
They look great, which is what I'm like. I assume that they were under the influence of some sort of substance. Like the whole thing is just a fun, cool like DIY, and I like that you kept everything just cardboard. You didn't try to like spruce it up with paint or with like additional stuff. I like that you kept it raw. For some reason, that feels more
Thanks.
fun to me.
In a perfect world, I would have loved to spray paint them, but I just ran out of time. But I honestly think it works better this way, kind of like you said. Like it looks really fun, and
I like
they're
the
just simple
I like
and
the
like
vibe. Yeah.
yeah, it worked really, really well. And so like other games that we had, if you've seen the Red Sewing where they killed like all those people, I had a bunch of balloons on the floor, and like 3 of them had confetti inside. And so when you pop them, those would give you special points. We had a water balloon toss, bocce ball.
If you won the Red Sewing, did you get a year subscription to Good Housekeeping or to Martha Stewart magazine?
No, you got 3 whole points for your team if you found one
Oh,
of
I
the
see.
balloons.
Okay.
Yeah. We did the like thing where you hold hands and have to like pass the hula hoop through everybody. Have you ever played that game? We had the relay race. We had archery, which I'm calling the little slingshot game. We had capture the flag, which was really fun, and I made green and black flags. And then, this was funny. We accidentally stuck one of the flags straight into an anthill when we first started and had to move it, like just to be closer. And when I picked it up, my hands were just covered in ants.
Were they fire ants? Because then it would have been
Yes.
on brand.
Yes, they
Perfect.
were. So
Nice.
the vicious ants attacked.
Yeah.
And then the last event, which I have kept consistent with last year, was an obstacle course called the 7-Pointed Star, which is a thing from the show. So you have 7 events to kind of go through all of them, and those change every year. So it was
there a
really, really
drinking
fun.
game?
The whole thing was a drinking game.
Yeah, I was like, we
Patrick.
had a lot of margaritas while we were doing all of this.
Are you kidding me? Are you, no,
I made
enough.
3 pitchers of margaritas, and it's all gone. I'll put it that way.
There is no scenario in which anybody is doing these games other than completely under the influence. Like that's just how it works.
It's really fun though. There was supposed to be a beer pong tournament, but we like started late, so we just ran out of time to do that as like a bonus game because we had a lot of extra drinks and stuff. But it was really, really, really fun. I love doing this. We will have it again next season in 2 years from now, which sucks, but we'll keep it going. Maybe we'll do it during the other shows. I'll have to adapt it somehow, but it's really fun to do. I feel like you don't get a chance to just like goof off and do something silly like this when you're an adult as much. Everyone like got really into it and was pretty competitive and everything. So it was a really fun day. We had a great time.
I think you should take Jedi up on his offer and get him to do like 2 different drink like cocktail like a menu, and then you guys make the drinks.
That would be awesome.
He lives in that world, and I think he could come up with some really fun on theme cocktail menus for you.
I'll definitely take you up for that next year. We had a friend of ours did for the first night make a black cocktail and a green cocktail that were actually colored and everything. He did a great job, but that is not my specialty. So I'll take ideas for next year.
What was the one that we did? What was the episode that we did where we came up with our own recipes and we asked people to drink with us? And
It was Halloween.
Yeah, but what did we call that episode? It was like
Monster Mash maybe, or like
No.
I don't
No.
He'll come to me
It
later.
would have been way more clever than that.
Yeah, it probably was. I can't remember.
Drinktober. It was Drinktober.
That's right, that's right,
what
yeah.
it was. So it was only
That's right.
slightly more creative than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Honestly, I take it back.
But yeah, so that was our second annual Blacks versus Greens Field Day, and after all of the events, we watched the finale together. And as I mentioned before,
Sorry.
this was not my favorite finale. I think last week's episode would have worked so much better as the finale for the season, but they love to do the Game of Thrones thing where the penultimate episode is the kind of like big shocking one, and then the final episode is a little more of a like cool down or whatever. But I just don't. There were some really good moments in this episode, but I just didn't. It felt like okay. So I know what's coming next. I read the book. I was trying to guess what is going to happen at the end of the season, like make an educated guess, which I also have to do for bingo reasons, guessing like who's going to die when. I was completely shocked at what they decided to do as like the ending, because I just like it's not a very exciting point to end it on,
Right.
especially when you have 2 years in between seasons. Like that's such a like wah wah at the end kind of, but I don't think like it obviously hasn't lost me like this.
I think you mean Waka Waka, and that's
I do think though, because they saved some of the big events that they could have used for this finale, that season 3 is going to be incredible. Like they have so much to pull from in that season.
or they'll
and-
just milk one of those.
Well,
events.
they've officially said as of today that they're only going to do 4 seasons for the whole show, which was my guess
all right.
anyway. Which, like, if that's true, then I think they made a
Well.
good choice in kind of spacing it out the way that they did. It kind of sucks for this season, but I think like the show as a whole might benefit from this decision a little more, making kind of easier to split up those other seasons. It's also just, I think, the 8 episodes in a season versus 10 doesn't help them. I wish that they would go back to 10, but I'm also like, give me more scenes where they're just talking, please. Like, I'm not always like
But naked, like
kind
they have to be naked while they're talking.
yeah, I love those scenes. There's only one this whole season, really.
Patrick
But-
watches those same scenes on mute.
But I just think like that was part of what made Game of Thrones really great, was that like you really cared about all the characters because you had these quieter moments with them before the battles happen, so that when they die you care. And they're just like, I will always crave more of that in the show, because the spectacle's there by default in my opinion, and like those choices to like build up the characters is what makes the show great. But I think that they could have done a little more. But I do think that like I liked this season. Well, maybe not with the ending. The first, I would have until episode 7. I would have said I liked season 2.
You didn't like this season.
I did not like the season, but I didn't like the ending of this season. I think that that was just not a great finale.
Okay.
I love that Patrick has asked all these questions. He's not seen a single episode of
Wouldn't.
this show at all.
Yeah,
I know.
I know that. Well, I think Lauren won't judge me, but
It's fine.
I did watch the first 2 episodes of season 1, and that was not enough to make me want to come back. It's possible that Bran the Broken broke my heart too much, and I can just never get over it.
I do still hate that, and there was even a
Yeah.
big thing in this episode that is really cool, but in my head it's kind of not as
Like,
cool because of the end
Tainted
choices
by what
at the
you know
end.
what. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to give this away because it just came out yesterday, but like,
Yeah,
this
don't
is-
quite. Because we're only a few episodes into this season. It's been busy, but we will catch up.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's just the episode 7 was so good, and that would have really been like a cool way to end it, where you're like, oh, we got all these new guys, look at all the new dragons, what's gonna happen next? Instead, they just kind of kept this same note going way too long.
But you know what I am excited for that I'm embarrassed to say? More Rings of Power. That's what I'm excited about.
I'm so excited for that. Yeah, only two weeks, I think. No, 3
Yeah.
weeks till that comes
So
out.
I know. I saw a trailer for it last night, and yeah, like that I would put on right now. So it's not the fantasy, it's not the setting, it's not the whatever. Just
It's
that
okay.
franchise might be dead for me now.
Yeah.
I understand. Like I think for me, like it's very different because like I am like a very deep level fan of just like this world, and then I also like I love throwing these parties, so I would do that anyway. So
I think you just look for reasons to make fun things and make people do games.
yeah, pretty much.
That's
That's why I
truly
love
in
like
general.
Game Changer. I think like it is just like an excuse, like one of the few times you see like adults just playing a game, like that's
Yeah.
like
Just so you
really
know,
serious.
You can drink without building a model horse ahead of time.
It's just true.
Or-
You can
or
just
a
I did that all the
Just
other 7 weeks.
You can just
just
invite
drink.
people over to just
I did that
drink.
the
Have
other
to invite
7
him
weeks
over.
that we do
you
this
can
thing.
Just drink if you want to. It's okay. All this
But there
formality.
is something just existentially sadder about drinking by yourself. There is something just slightly sadder. So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's much more fun.
I think
with
we can
all of your
all
friends.
agree with that. I think we've
Especially
all
with
been
like
there.
crazy face paint and stuff. It's much more fun.
Yeah, you're painting your own face to sit by yourself and watch and just drink.
Now I'm imagining Lauren shows us the like dragon she made, and it just does not look like a dragon. It has
No.
like something hanging off by tape, and like we'll we'll know.
We'll know if
when
there's a
it's bad.
problem. We'll know when there's a when we need to make a trip to Houston and just see if everything's all right. There will be signs.
I love
Okay,
it.
is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay, then I think that's going to be it for this episode. Hey, we're not going to roll dice right now because we are going to take a little bit of a break. These next few weeks are going to be crazy
These never
for
end
all
well.
of us on different ways. So if you've gotten used to hearing us every week for the last 10 years, then just go back and to listen to some of those episodes because we're gonna close up shop for the next few weeks. We will come back in September, but we just need a few weeks. It's just life is busy and crazy.
It's just that time of life.
It's just nuts.
I do feel like I've been like sprinting for a month straight. So
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to be sprinting for this whole month. So
And I don't have a
having
podcast room.
and
Starting in like
Patrick-
6 days.
Patrick is going to be couch surfing.
he's just gonna do
very
it like
soon.
from his phone, like from now on.
Production value was going to drop
Well-
either way. So we're just going to go ahead and say we're going to take a few weeks off. We will be back in September to update you on all of the things going on in our lives and what's happening. But in the meantime, yeah, go back and listen to some old episodes and then share them. Why not? You know, that's what there's a whole archive full of them. Where can you find those? Right over at mof1.network. That's where you can find them, as well as show notes and links to all the stuff we just talked about in this episode. Like, subscribe, rate, review, all the places right here on twitch.tv/mof1podcast. I already called it from Jedi, by the way, Patrick. You better believe
No.
the second they announced that, I texted him
No.
right away. We have
Jedi,
so just,
who went with you 45 minutes to the car, to that parking garage to get that mug? Your friend Patrick. And Andrew just sat
who
back and
finally
did nothing.
who finally shipped you something after 3
After
years of waiting?
Many years.
Lauren. So get the cards for Lauren.
Honestly, out of the three of us, she does deserve them the most.
Hang on. To be fair, I did. I got to drive to his house, and I got to spend time in his tiki room. And for everyone who's just listening, they have no idea what
You've
the heck
been
we're
to his
talking about.
tiki
'Cause we're-
room?
Yeah, I've been in his tiki room. We drank out there.
Okay, he deserves it.
Yeah. I made a trip to California just to hang out with the man.
Yeah.
All right.
win.
He actually,
can
you
have
wouldn't
some
know
cards.
this, Patrick. He posted about us today. He posted the photo of him and you and
Mm-hmm.
I when he came into town and we all went to Franklin. He just posted that picture today.
Wait, not the taco one?
Nope, this was the Franklin one. It was like a time
How about
like a
that?
time
There
hop.
are multiple ones.
It was the time hop, I think, and so it's been however many years today that
How about
that
this?
happened. So
I'll cut the card in half, and then you get to pick which half you want.
okay, that's fine. I like the idea that you think there's only one card. I'll let you, tell you what, you can keep that one card, the only one card that there is. All right, that was a whole lot of nonsense for those of you who are not in the thread, but you know what? That's what you get for not being on Twitch and watching what's happening live. I think that's everything. I don't think we need to say anything else. Find us. I'm at Andrew Sale with 3s instead of E's on the internet. Lauren, people can find you on the internet, presumably.
Yep, I'm at Not Cool Co. And at the end of August, I'll be at Dragon Con.
And I am
And-
at Mug Drop.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like Rand McNally or something like having to do with like
What?
traveling, like TomTom or Garmin or something. Because you're getting ready to travel. Rand McNally is the globe maker, like the.
I
You know what a
forgot that
globe is?
TomTom
You
was
thought
a GPS.
that's what I was gonna say?
I was gonna say that for you. I was hoping you would go that route of like you can find me at the truck stop, like something like that. Anyway, that's fine.
Wow.
You don't. It's fine that after all these years, I can't predict anything that you're gonna say or do. We're
That's
gonna get
not
out
true.
of this episode though. We'll see you in a few weeks. I'm Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
Y'all come back now. You hear?
Adios.
Bye.
Shut up.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Y'all come back now. You
I
hear?
love it.
Jedi, do you know that I dropped and broke that mug? Not on purpose, but like
You
the
did say
45-minute
drop.
trip
I know
to
it.
Goofy's parking lot.
I knew it.
I think within a month that mug hit the floor of our kitchen.
Oh, no. So sad.
Mackenzie dropped it, right?
That's
I
how
believe-
I remember it.
I believe
that's,
both.
that's how I remember it.
That's how
But
So there you go. She said I actually dropped it.
I'm resistant to name calling.
Okay, well she
So if
said
that's
it
what
herself.
if that's what you say, then that's fine.
She said it right there.
funny.
I actually dropped it.
Aw.
It's a
Tragedy.
wonderful situation, and I'm not sure he knew that. Oh, his wife broke theirs too, so neither one of you have this thing.
What? Well,
That's really
we have
funny.
we have a trip to the car park.
I do
That's
like
what we
that
have.
there is
You've
still
got a
some like
story.
synergy in that both your wives broke the cups.
Yeah. Good one, Tara.
All right, everybody, it's been fun. We'll see you in a few weeks, but everyone be good. Love you. Bye.
Right, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Oh, is this the end?
Hey,
Bye.
have fun, Kate, at D23. Oh, you're not going to D23.
Yeah.
We take it back. Don't have fun.
Yeah, don't you
Yeah,
dare
don't have any fun. Don't have fun without us.
For all of you who are going to D23, have a good time. We'll see you soon.
yeah, it's cool.
Right here, hold the future in my hands, and you come near. This is our promised land. Remind me again how we started something, and we're not going back like light in a match, and it's trying to catch like fall.